The black church used to be the backbone of the community, of our communities. The place where revolutions were born, where leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X challenged oppression, and where we found hope. But now, it's looking more and more like a multi-billion-dollar industry than a movement for liberation. Believe it or not, people are waking up. Millennials and Gen Z are leaving at record rates. And we have to ask the question, the hard question. Is the black church dead or did it sell out? Today we are breaking it all down, all the way down. The truth about why people are leaving, why the church has lost its power, and what comes next. Let's get into it. Let's start with the facts, with the history, with our records of the past. Because the black church wasn't always what we see today. During slavery, the church was one of the few places where black people could organize. Enslaved Africans took the Bible and found hidden messages of freedom, resistance, and divine justice. In the 1960s, the black church was the headquarters of the civil rights movement. Dr. King and Fannie Lou Hamer, of blessed memory, and others preached a gospel of action, not just pray and wait on the Lord. The black church was a source and a force of power. The black church was where movements started. The black church was about liberation, not just salvation. So you may ask, what happened? Somewhere along the line, the black church shifted from being about power to being about profit. Mega pastors living in mansions while their congregations suffers and struggles. Churches collecting millions to billions of dollars, but our communities stay poor. More focus on sowing a seed, tithing, than building black wealth. This is what we call the prosperity gospel. The idea that if you give more money to the church, the institution, that God will bless you. But let's be real. Nothing wrong with giving, nothing wrong with blessing people. But the only ones that are getting rich are the pastors. Let's understand and be clear about it all. The pastors, they got private jets, while people in their congregation are losing their homes. They got the designer suits, while families can barely afford groceries. The question is this really what Yeshua commonly called Jesus taught? Or has Christianity been turned into another business model? Let's talk about why young black people are leaving the church and organized religion altogether at record rates. For years we were told, don't question God, don't question the pastor. Or just have faith and pray about it. God will see you through. Or if you leave the church, you're lost. But millennials and Gen Z are waking up and saying, nah, this ain't it, that ain't it. Something's wrong with this. You may ask why. Well, here is why. Number one, hypocrisy. We see pastors condemning so-called sin while they're out cheating on their wives, sleeping with same gender while they're preaching against it, stealing and exploiting people and the money that are given. Two, no action. The church tells us to wait on the Lord instead of taking real steps to fight injustice. Three, ignoring mental health, telling people to pray the depression away instead of encouraging therapy when many of these preachers need therapy themselves. Four, lack of relevance. Young people want to talk about real issues, systematic racism, economic empowerment, social justice, but the church is still stuck in old traditions. And where do they get the old traditions from? From a book. And where did they get the book from? From the oppressors. And where did they get the understanding of the book they got from the oppressors? From the oppressors. That was given to them into the world for what? The masses control. So the big question now becomes, and really is, if the black church isn't leading us to liberation anymore, what purpose does it serve? Ask yourself the question and see what your answer is. Here's something we need to talk about that many people keep avoiding. Is Christianity even our original spiritual system? Before slavery, our ancestors had powerful spiritual traditions. Ifa, Voodoo, Kemetic spirituality, among many spiritual traditions. They didn't need a middleman to access the divine. They didn't need to tithe or give to a church community to connect with God. What if it's time to go back to our roots instead of clinging to a system that was forced onto us? What if spirituality was not about empowerment, or was about empowerment, should I say, but not obedience? What if we built communities based on action, not just faith? What if we stopped waiting for heaven and started building our own paradise right here, right now, to benefit us? These are the questions that need answers ASAP. So let's be real with one another and stop faking the funk. Is the black church dead? It's not that the black church is dead. It's that many people are waking up to the fact that it no longer serves the purpose it once did. It's not that young black people don't love God, the creator, source, or whatever name, God by all names known. It's not that they don't love truth. It's not that they don't love community. It's that they are seeing through the fog, through the smoke and mirrors, and are seeing the truth. And the truth is, the black church has shifted and moved from its purpose. And now it's time for a complete overhaul, a complete restructuring, a complete change, a whole, not just a facelift, in and out. Or it's time to now move on to something that is going to serve us and are going to serve the purpose of upliftment, empowerment, and helping us collectively as a people, not just around faith, but about the collective community as a whole. Not gathering and supporting each other around religion and denomination, but around mutual support and the collective unity of a people. We must admit that some churches are still doing the work, but too many have become corporations instead of community centers. And if they don't change, they will collapse. Many young preachers are starting churches, storefront churches, and are trying to gather members. But the question is, what is your purpose? Are you serving your generation of this age with what they need? Or are you still perpetuating old traditions that no longer serve us, and that you really don't know the root of where it comes from and the purposes behind it? So now it's up to us to ask the big question. What does faith look like moving forward? How do we take back our spiritual power? And what do we replace the broken system with? I want you to drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let's have this conversation, because guess what? It's long overdue. And as always, please like, share, subscribe, and repost, because these are the discussions they don't want us to have, but it's necessary. Again, this has been Sankofa Session Podcast with your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Israel, where we take you back into the future to bring clarity and focus for our future. And until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are great, you are creative, you are a manifestation of the infinite force that created the universe. You are God in flesh, having a human experience. And until next time, peace be with you.